Yes, that was the key to it.
Yeah, that's not going to work well for me, is it?
This is how we all.
Okay, so now what? It says preview loading, but
And
I
that,
see yes.
okay, so with that, then you'll check off the streams that you want to go live in.
Okay, I got 3. I need Rina's 2. Dang.
You know, we're actually live in the group right now.
Oh, hi. Oh, look at that.
That's what I was talking about last time. All the preamble. I'm not loving this
Yeah.
new system.
Okay, we'll figure.
And
We'll figure.
Great.
really bad screen thumbnails, right? Really bad.
I can take.
Look at my last one.
File right now, and we'll take a thumbnail. There you go. And I'll take a screenshot. So, hello, it's Geek Speak, and it's the best one of the whole month. I know I took over the conversation really quickly. We're talking, what is it? Websites, search, and social, or search, social, and websites, as I like to say, because search is the most important. Just joking. It could be websites, and it might be social, but today we get on here and we talk about all the news. Now, we meet on Tuesdays, and in between Tuesday and Thursday, lots of stuff has happened. So all the old news is out the window, and we can talk about the new news. That reminds me, I'm going to maybe age myself a little, and I'm just wondering if Greg and Rina know when I say this comment, which is, no GNUs is good GNUs. From Gary GNU. Okay?
No.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Okay, anyway, Greg knows.
Okay.
Love Gary GNU. Gary GNU brought the news to young children. Anyway, so look, I put a little, what's the marketing news? So hi, Greg, do you want to start us off?
Sure, I can start us off, I guess. Phelan, did you have something to say first?
Oh, I was like, hey, maybe we should all introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Totally with it. It's not a new system. So I'm Pip, and that guy's
Greg. And that guy
Phelan.
And I'm Rina.
It's weird.
We're actually all in the right spots for where we pointed. I'm surprised.
Exactly.
Usually everybody's thing is like in different order.
It's true.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's get to the news. What is the news? What do you guys want to start?
Pip, you threw it to me, so I guess we'll go over WordPress related stuff. Not a ton of news specifically WordPress related, other than a security release that came out, which was pretty standard. So when they find things, it'll automatically push out. But there was an interesting thing I came across a couple days ago, which will impact a lot of people because these are very popular plugins or add-ons. One is for Elementor, and the other is if you're using the Gutenberg block builder. Ultimate Add-ons for Gutenberg is a very popular block plugin to extend the block features. Both of these are being rewritten so that the old rows and columns are now going to be containers and using Flexbox, which allow a lot more flexibility and a much smaller DOM size, so your page loads will be much quicker building it this way. And these are supposed to be released sometime mid-late April, I'm hearing. So that's probably the biggest news coming within the WordPress world that I know about.
Interesting. Yeah, I met with somebody. And was talking. Carol Phelan uses Elementor, and so I was like, "Oh, there's a big update." It's like I knew stuff because of Greg, right? So that's interesting news. I wanted to ask you both, actually, on a side, just for a tip for everybody. How often do you think you should update your WordPress plugins?
Oh yeah, well, regularly, but you do need to assess them for whether or not it's a high security then problem, then you want to do it right away. If it's not, then sometimes I like to leave it for a few days to make sure that they work out all of their code issues. Sometimes if you it's like when you do the iPhone updates right away and then all of a sudden things are thrown off and then there's a next update that comes out a day or two later. You don't want to cause any issues. And for big updates, like I know that the plugins, you can just hit that update button, but sometimes for complicated things, bigger plugins, I don't it really depends on your site. You need to actually clone your site and do it on a test site. Make sure it doesn't break anything, and then migrate it back over, or adjust it on your live site. Sorry.
I,
So
Right.
I
that's how I
completely
approach it.
I agree completely with what
Oh
Rena's going
yay!
on about. I'll go one step further. In a lot of the times, when I see major releases, I won't do them on purpose, waiting for that dot
Yes.
one or dot two, because typically when a full release comes out, everybody jumps on that. There's inevitably something that's found that breaks something, or
Yeah.
doesn't work, and they typically come up with that dot one or dot two version within a couple of days of the release.
Yes.
So I tell every client, if I'm not maintaining it for them, any major release, wait until you see that 6.1 or whatever, before you do it. And there's another thing too, is when you look through your plugins, in the update section, it'll show you. I don't know how reliable it is, because I think it's just information provided by the plugin owner itself, meaning they've tested it with current versions. But you'll see something that says compatible with,
Uh,
and the
yeah.
version of WordPress. And if it doesn't say that,
Don't
you
know.
definitely probably might want to look into the update before actually applying it. I'm
Mm.
a little bit more comfortable when it says compatible with, but I still, you just want to have caution when you're doing any update, really. But
And that was the tip segment of our discussion today. And I will tell you, we never agree, ever, usually. And that's why we left Phelan out here, because he might disagree. And we don't have time for that. Anyway, Phelan, Rena, search social, any news?
Yes, actually, there's quite a bit in social that I'm digging. So, for example, it looks like TikTok might come up with index search results in Google. So, that might be fun for brands in particular to look forward to.
That's
That's
exciting.
nice. And sorry?
That's exciting. Oh, and Aura says
Yes.
hello. Hi,
Yay. Hi, Aura. And then a couple of other quick things. Twitter's got a downvote on comments now. That was offered up to me a couple of days ago. So that's been quite fun, downvoting people's comments. And it's actually supposed to be part of their creating better content policy. So we're helping them do the moderating for them, I suppose, is what it looks like, how they framed it. I don't know what that means. It seems like anyone can downvote anything, so it might be helpful. It might actually turn Twitter into a bit of a mess. Who knows? Only time will tell. And YouTube, um, the question I've heard often is, what happens if I delete my comments on YouTube when they're not very positive? And the answer is nothing. So the YouTube algorithm is organized according to engagement with the video specifically, not comments. So you don't have to worry about getting rid of those offensive comments if you want to.
you can actually put on your YouTube channel to review comments before they go get listed.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So in Facebook, the comments do affect the algorithm. So my trick for that is to not delete, but to hide, and then only that person and their friends sees it. And that's usually a social space where it's fine, and that all those comments that go on there will, anyone that adds to that will actually help your algorithm. So don't be afraid of negative comments on Facebook.
Ah, Jessica is saying, okay, she's coming in here to say hi because I don't think my comments are being seen on the other feed. Hi, hi. You want to know something, Jessica? We switched systems, and I'm just noticing that the comments and reactions don't come up. So that is another vote against this new system, and we will make some decisions later about that because that's stinky. Anyway, yes. So, do you all do down votes? Do you hit? I've only probably hit that down thumbs down a couple times because I feel bad.
I
I've put a
normally,
dislike on a YouTube video a couple times,
Well, if it's crap,
yeah,
but
which is, I
I
guess,
normally,
go on.
yeah, I normally thumbs down shitty comments, quite frankly, not usually shitty content, because I just think that, and it depends. It's not, yeah, I don't really get involved in crappy content. I just don't pay attention to that.
Except for Twitter.
But Twitter's different. It's kind of like, yeah, Twitter's different, and I don't get involved in everything on Twitter either. I just where things lead me and what my mood is. But I've never downvoted on Twitter yet. I'm not sure I would. I don't know. Maybe I will. I think that when people are in the public sphere, like public people, I feel more inclined to show disapproval on on comments for those people, like if I disagree with their policy or their approach or what they said, especially right now what's going on in the States with the whole
Yes.
um, trans stuff. So I will be more likely to pass comments, pass judgment on a political figure or a public figure over an individual usually.
Jessica's saying,
Rena,
oh, go on.
do you find that the upvote, or I guess there's no upvoting, there's only
No,
downvoting
there's
of
just a
comments,
like.
right?
Yeah, there's
Do
yeah,
you,
yeah,
do you think
yeah.
it's a play for Twitter to be a little bit more like Reddit? I know we don't talk about
Yeah.
Reddit a lot in
Yeah,
the
no,
group
we don't.
or in here, but Reddit is super popular with people who are diehard Reddit fans. I
Yes.
never got the whole, like, I find Reddit um, complicated and annoying because I just want to go and get the information I want. So Reddit is a different animal to me, and for
Yeah.
me, for some reason, it just doesn't work. But do you think Twitter is going that direction?
Ooh.
I think that
Most
what they're trying to do, I mean, on Facebook, you have the angry face, right? And the sad face. So you get to express more emotions than you can on Twitter, really. So I think that they're really just trying to create some kind of unlike thing. And so they've chosen the downvote. And yeah, so I think they just want to expand the range of emotions that you can express on Twitter, quite frankly.
I
I
kind
don't
of
know if
would
they,
be I would be interested to see Twitter with an up and a down vote option because I like the concept of Reddit where the masses up and down vote the most relevant or best information. I just don't like the way that it's presented in the Reddit
yeah.
system.
So
Well,
what is
hold
it
on.
that
Wait. I want to hear Phelan's opinion because I know he's been trying to say something.
Oh, sorry,
uh,
Phelan.
No, sorry.
It's all good. No, I was just going to say that Reddit actually has been growing as a user base since 2006 when
Yeah,
it got started, whereas Twitter
yeah.
has not. And so it probably
Oh,
anything to
interesting.
emulate the community-based function. Also, I would say
Yeah,
that it's probably something for their algorithmic as Twitter moves over to a more algorithmically based feed and more that it
right.
uses those signals that it's easier signal that it's like either it's liked or it's downvoted. So it's easier for an algorithm to go, this is popular, this is unpopular,
Mm.
or this is getting traction. So probably easier for an algorithm to pick up like this is what I should be showing people versus just some like a if you get ratioed or whatever, that's like a little more ambiguous. That people are disapproving, whereas it's much simpler if it's a downvote that an algorithm can be like identifying um, that
Yeah,
it's got
Like
uh,
good
that's
name.
true.
wrong name that money.
That Yeah, that's pretty true. There isn't really much. I don't know how Twitter's data collection goes. If you don't participate in creating your interests in there, then I don't know. All I know is that I get the worst ads on Twitter than I get anywhere else because I don't really participate in telling them what I like so
Mm.
much. So I don't know how they collect their information. Um, but yeah, that actually makes perfect sense, Phelan.
So none of us do advertising on Twitter. Is that what I'm hearing?
I did it at the
It's
very beginning and I didn't really find it particularly useful. It's kind of like what Google used to be where you could target people who are by their gender and their age.
Uh, Jessica's
And that's
saying,
it.
Jessica's
Right.
saying, but that is actually what you're voting for, or are they up or down voting based on emotion? I think that's towards you. She's saying thumbs down on Reddit. She does.
I would say Twitter, if you're going to do anything on Twitter, probably just stick to like brand recognition stuff, because I think your
Mhm.
conversions of actually targeting a
Mhm.
specific audience to actually make a purchase or sign up to something is pretty
Mhm.
low. But because there are a lot of people on Twitter, brand recognition might be the only way that I would go,
Mm,
if you're going to pay for
The
something.
Yeah, I think it would be a really specific reason why I would want to use Twitter over anything else, and it hasn't come up in a very long time. But what I'm noticing a lot of the ads that I get are um, like they're clickbait. So they go to those awful websites that pretend to have an article, but really they have so much ads on them. Like they're those click ads, right? So there's so much ads that it's even hard for the page to load on my super high speed Wi-Fi. Have you ever gone to any of those ads to check them out?
mm, I
no.
No.
I don't.
Oh, they're awful. They're terrible. The blog posts that are written on those, like it'll have a real good clickbait
I
title, and then it's like it's written by an 8-year-old. Um, and it's very long and there's like four lines of text and then another giant ad, 4 lines of text and another giant ad, and then ads all down the sides, both sides, and then pop-ups. And so they're really they're actually I've tried reading a few of them, and then you get to nothing. You don't get what the promise of the title was, and it's so much time to load that I end up abandoning it anyways.
I don't like
There's
ads.
been a lot of sites that I've gone to similar to that. Probably not from Twitter, but maybe from Facebook or something. The thing I find most annoying about that is that I was like maybe interested. Okay, I want to see what this they're saying in this article or what it's about. But then you get there, and like you said, it's like a little
Yeah.
bit of text, and then an ad, and some pictures. Like you don't know what's article and what's not article.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, well, so I have a question here because I mean, and this is just a selfish question because I had to reload my computer a while back, and so I didn't have all my Chrome extensions. One of the Chrome extensions I have not activated recently in the last couple months is my ad blockers. Now I used to use two. So I do come across those articles now, like, and honestly, search engine journals one of those articles. Like they're that like if you don't have your ad blocker on, you're seeing a lot of AdSense. Do you all use ad blockers or?
No, I don't use ad blockers.
Well, yeah. So try an ad blocker, and you'll solve that whole problem. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
maybe.
I
But I don't
promise.
even find the articles particularly good. Like it's like they're very spammy. Everything is spammy about Twitter ads. I haven't found an actual Twitter ad that wasn't spammy. I
Interesting.
keep looking. Yeah, I keep looking.
Well, Google does index or Twitter, um, some of Twitter feed, right? And Twitter and Google have had an on-off relationship for a long time. They got in a fight several years back, and Google took the Twitter feed off Google. So now it's back. It's been a couple of years, so maybe that'll happen with TikTok. because right, it sounds like they're chummy right now if they're doing that, because that builds both of them up. And we all know that last year TikTok outpaced Google one day for
Yeah.
most visited websites. So I thought that was really interesting. Phelan, got any news? What's your news?
Uh, well, I would say that the fact that Google Universal Analytics is being sunset, that's a big one. That I mean, we all knew this was going to happen at some point, but it is.
It's fast. Feels fast. I mean, feels really fast because there are some things you can do in universal analytics you can't do in regular analytics.
But wait,
Still,
wasn't
Yeah.
it announced? But it's not actually going away for another year and a half.
year and a half, yeah,
Well,
but
I
it's
mean, it's being
So
sunset, so it's going to be deprecated
yeah,
over time, which just means they're not going to support it, and it'll probably still exist. But it's like all the new features are obviously going to the Google Analytics 4. New
I
features like
would
they added new.
what?
I would think in the next year and a half, a lot of the GA4 stuff will be bolstered with what Universal has or was going to move. So
Yeah, I mean, like, so one issue I have is the filtering process. They don't, I mean, maybe that's been updated, but you've had to use a third party Chrome extension, I believe, to do filtering. And you need to do filtering to clean up the data, right? So that, like, your customers or uh, clients can read the reports and they're not so sparse, right? Like, how many times do you want to see L.Facebook and M.Facebook? Just put all of Facebook together. Anyway, little rant there.
Well, yeah, there are definitely some features that are just not going to be ported over because the nature of how Google Analytics 4 was set up at its core, at its inception, similar to how Universal Analytics at its inception, it just doesn't have some of the. It won't be able to change, and it's being modified. The Google Analytics 4, you have to remember that the website component was tacked on. It's not made for websites. It was made specifically for Firebase apps, which is why it was called Firebase Analytics initially. And then they made it into Web and App Analytics, and then they made it into Google Analytics 4. So at the end of the day, the website component is always like tacked on, and it's always just sort of not meant for it in the same way as it is apps. Because if you look at the event tracking, it's very clearly designed for apps because a lot of it is about a stream of a player using your app, and you can tell like, oh, they got to the registration screen but they didn't make it to payment screen. Okay, is there an issue there? Or it's designed for a flow of a gameplay rather than it is for someone going through a website. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a part where I always kind of was miffed about them doing this, is because they should have left it as like the side component and not brought it in for all of the websites, because ultimately they're just a different user flow and different user experience that you're expecting out of them.
Well, we do have to go dig around and go find where we used to easily find the information. The hard part about this for us, Phelan and I, is we teach Google Analytics. So we're gonna have to be changing that a little bit. We teach Google Analytics 4 too, but it wasn't our primary focus. The interesting thing about like all the reporting stuff is now you're starting to see, like, so you would usually connect like Google Analytics to Google Search Console or to Google Ads, or and now they're doing this double connection. So inside Google Search Console, you have to connect Google Analytics. Inside Google Analytics, you have to connect Google Search Console. So it's a double connect, which a lot of people don't see. And the same thing in Google Ads. So all your Google Ads accounts now are having this double connection. And so I think as things go, we're gonna get more information, not less, I think, by connecting all these things. And we're maybe should be more apprehensive about sharing that information, because if you have your Google Search Console connected to your Google Analytics, you're actually showing the keywords that your website is ranking for to anyone that has Google Analytics access. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
it's put into an aggregate, like it's not specific websites, but it's saying people in your industry, right? When you start up a Google Analytics account, they're like, what industry are you in? And the reason is because then they could do benchmarks and they aggregate the data overall. Because, well, mostly for privacy concerns. They're not allowed to just say like, "Oh, this website's ranking for this."
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be doing like direct like that unless you own the website.
Right.
The other thing that's going off of that is interesting, that's part of the Google Analytics for rollout, is new UTM parameters, which have I
So
think that protocol is just about as, I mean, it's as old as Google Analytics. It was started by Urchin Analytics, which is why it's called a UTM parameter, an Urchin term parameter, or
Do
Urchin.
you want to explain what UTM parameters? Oh, but first, Jessica's saying she needs an ad blocker, the one she used this morning, and bad background. Yes, I'll send you an ad blocker for a Chrome extension, Jessica. Anyway, go on, Phelan.
Yeah. So UTM parameter, very quickly, is something you add on to any URL you're going to post online. Mostly it's going to be on advertising, because you do want to track like which campaign it came from, which source were they on. Going back to our Twitter versus Reddit conversation, if you're advertising on either one of them, you want to know, oh, the person came from a paid ad on this platform and it was for this audience. So now they have new UTM parameters, which are going to be showing up in Google Analytics 4, which are for type of post that it is, or type of medium. So, are you going for skyscraper content? Maybe this is additional content. I don't know how these are going to work in practice, but they definitely sound super interesting. The one that I'm very interested about is Source Platform, I think is the name of it. And what's good about that is it will now break out if you're advertising on Google, and especially with their new Performance Max, where it's just they'll advertise you on all their platforms, all of them, but then you won't be able to distinguish, oh, this came from the merchant center, oh sorry, the shopping channel, versus a regular search ad, versus YouTube, versus a display, and it's going to break all those components out for you, but still say that it is paid advertisement. But it will be able to break out the platform one layer below, so it wouldn't necessarily be the medium, but it's like the platform itself.
We're into advertising, if you couldn't tell. So I think, Mona's here. Hello, Mona. I love the gang. Yes, we are the gang. Every week we get on here Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific to talk about something amazing. Every third Thursday, we do a marketing update about, what is it, websites, search and social. I like to search social and websites. And we're running out of time. So are there any standout things that we didn't mention that we should get to? Like, did Zuckerberg tell us anything? Or this week?
Yes, there is new
no.
moderating options for Facebook groups. And so there's going to be some automatic triggers. So auto mods, again, copying Reddit, definitely has that vibe. But it's definitely one where they're trying to give more tools for people who run Facebook groups to be able to keep tabs on things. And so that looks like it'll be interesting as we dig into it.
Right. And Google Ads updated their conversion tracking inside their account. So if your reporting is broken or off and you do Google Ads, that's probably why. We learned that the hard way.
Yes.
Greg, anything? Rena, anything? Nothing?
I don't remember. I have to check my notes to make sure I got it all out.
Right. And I was going to say, we were all so great this round that there are actually some articles that we will attach in the comments today. And we're sorry we couldn't answer comments or put them on the screen. That will be resolved. Do y'all know what we're talking about next week?
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're talking about Google Analytics setup best practices.
Oh no, that conversation's going to have to change.
Uh-oh.
Google Analytics 4 best setup.
Yes, in light of recent events.
Right? And
still analytics.
It is still
Yeah.
It's true. And we did not specify, which is good. That should be really fun, actually, because that means I get to go dig into some analytics stuff. Who doesn't love that?
And that's going to be with you, Pip, and Rena.
Ooh.
Oh, excellent.
So you can get all your questions out, Rena, and like, so say I wanted to like change everything over. How would I go about doing that?
I'll be leading the conversation through my question asking techniques.
Yeah.
If you're not in the Facebook group right now, we stream in a Facebook group called Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. Join us over there. Long name, great people, all about marketing. Because marketing's what, Greg? What?
Group effort.
Woo! Okay, bye. We'll see if I know how to finish this live with this system. 1, 2, 3.